Hello, kia ora, welcome back. So, I've been thinking, of course, as we do, and there's a lot of soft podcasts out there. There's a lot of podcasts out there that are trying to address a lot of political uh, topics, and it's just it's just dawned on me that because I'm going through this development phase of whether I'm too harsh, whether my format is too open. You know, I don't hold anything back. I don't hold any bars. I especially want to encourage um involvement. I want to get you people involved, but I need to get an understanding of what you people out there really want to engage with. Um, oh yeah, so I've been going through one particular person that I follow quite often and I look up to, but admire and adore really. Um, and they're on social media, but not on the social media formats that I'm on. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, that I've got an open doorway and they've got an open doorway on their own thing. And so I was looking through one of my favorite platforms, which is Facebook, and a lot of people don't like Facebook because you can say too much. You've got a pretty much an unlimited screening of whatever you can say, and that's why I like Facebook because Twitter Twitter is you can only say a paragraph. I don't know how many exact words, if you know the amount of exact words that you can say on Twitter, then for sure put it in the comments and we'll have a talk about it. But I think that limits um, what do you call it? It limits your freedom of speech to express yourself properly. Now, when you go onto Twitter, you have to really narrow it and condense it into a few words, and I believe that that takes away from you the full scope of what exactly you want to say. So I've gravitated towards Facebook because it allows you to give as much information as you can possibly put and really defend your stance and where you want to stand in your opinion. So here I am, I'm thinking, yep, this is an open format. No, it's not made for kids. But kids can listen. Kids can join in. I don't want to police that. I was brought up in an environment where mum and dad were getting on the piss and we were running around as kids, and you know you look at everything that society says is wrong, and look at me. You are you pointing the finger at me? Are you pointing the finger at me and saying that because of my upbringing and without the rules that were in place now, then that I'm a defective gene? That I had these freedoms that these kids don't experience, or these kids do experience, but they just go out behind everybody's backs and break the law. You know, there are a few things. You could leave your child in the car park at the pub. You could leave your child waiting in the car while you went into the TAB. You could leave your kids at home under the age of 14 and expect them to supervise and look after themselves and feed themselves. Um, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things today under the banner of corporal punishment, which is not suitable. Now has opened up this gate of non-compliance that you aren't allowed to, as a parent, to to well, police on or put onto your child's upbringing. Yeah, for sure that that you can't leave your child at home unsupervised under the age of 14, but you can't discipline your child to understand under the age of 14 that that is a serious responsibility, and being that you fail, that there are going to be repercussions for failing that responsibility. Now, another thing that's come to mind is that because it's an open format, that what is a suitable time? Now here we are at nearly quarter past 5:15 p.m. in the afternoon, evening, and I'm saying to myself, do I restrict myself? Do I really, as an adult, do I really have to wait until 9 p.m. and say, okay, now is the time where adults can get together and speak whatever they want, however they want, and about whatever they want? Is that fitting within the protocol and the lines of society so we can be acceptable to the masses? I mean, here we have these professional DJ jockeys, webcam princesses, you know, and they're doing everything right. And pretty much they are the Joneses. When you have to keep up with the Joneses, they are the Joneses. They're professional. They do it for a career. They're on 6 o'clock. They're on 12 midday. They're on 6 a.m. in the morning, and they're saying everything proper and politically correct. And they're getting all the big interviews, and the politicians that are saying no, no, we don't smoke weed. Oh yes, we do smoke weed. Yes, you can smoke weed. No, you can't smoke weed. Oh, you shouldn't swear at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, you shouldn't use profanity before 9 p.m. in the day. Oh, there's all these protocols to get through. And I say, fuck that. I say that's a load of fucking bullshit. We are out there, and hey, this is an international platform now. YouTube is global. You can't get past it. 3 p.m., 5 p.m. here today now is 9 p.m. Monday in the United States of America, and across the world at so many different times. Then why? Why even bother to restrict or to hold back on your content when you're speaking to the world? It's proper that, yeah, over there it's past bedtime and the kids are in bed, but here it's 3 o'clock in the day. We have Hey, Natasha. Wow, it's great to have you on board. Everybody, this is the great and wonderful Natasha Lee. We all know her as Ms. Tosh, Olsen at music. Great to have you on board. So yeah, like what I was saying is today in these day and ages is we have an international platform, and X-rating our conversations to a time zone is you know it's beyond me. How do you work that out? How do you work that out that you're trying to reach an audience, you're trying to tell them that you care, you're trying to let them know it doesn't matter how you say it to me, I'm here, I'm listening to you. You can put it any way you want, but it's 3 p.m. here in New Zealand, so mind your language. Um, yeah. So I'm wrapped that Tasha's on. Yeah. Hey, so yeah, getting my head around this global thing on international platforms such as YouTube. Yeah, who am I trying to cut out here, and who am I trying to include? Just because it's 3 p.m. here and it's 9 p.m. and somewhere else across the world. I mean, we want to include everybody, right? So I think anytime that we go live and express ourselves, that we should be accepting to any types of levels of intelligence. And that's another sad thing about it, is that because you haven't got the patience or the internal mechanisms or cognitive development to be able to phrase yourself, put it into what they call proper English, so that it's acceptable to everybody, or even they go as far as the Queen's English, and it just gets beyond me and past the root of 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 what we're trying to how we're trying to be here for everybody. I don't want to compare myself to anybody great out there, but eventually we want people to be able to express themselves however they feel comfortable. And there is a soft spot kneading into my heart there about, okay, so if we're able to express ourselves however and whatever the way we want to, what if being around people that use profanity and speak in that kind of language makes us feel uncomfortable, and we don't actually express ourselves properly until we can hold back all of those negative forces, negative, and and alliterate ourselves without using that conversational jargon. Um, are we pushing them away? Do we need to be more accepting? Um, are we trying to rationalize rationality? Where do we go? So how I've begun on this topic is I'm new at this podcast game, and I'm trying to appropriate my channel to encourage people to participate, which is the whole point of building a platform where people can converse and come together on. Um, so I've chosen and selected the channel name Poetry for Your Voice, because I believe in that, if you can't not express yourself without using a few F and Bs, or you're the opposite to that, and you express yourself calmly and rationally, and you go and take a few flower heads off the marigolds before you come down and come here and sit down and actually say what's on your mind, then expressionism allows you to use this tool called poetry. And poetry is a beautiful thing because you can articulate your words however you want. You can put them in a way that it reaches the ear of certain people, and it drifts past others. You can use clever little rhymes that stick in people's minds and get passed on to the future because it rhymed and it went for 3 or 4 words or sentences, and that's what stuck in people's mind, along with the message, and it compounded in their head, and they took it with them. And that's why I've used it and chosen the channel's name as Poetry for Your Voice, because a lot of people out there can't speak for themselves, and it's a channel, it's a vent, and that's what I'm trying to provide as well, is a vent for people to be able to express themselves. Yeah, and we've got a lot of people out there, and they live their lives, and they're going well, and they're going swell. Couple of weeks pass by, and then all of a sudden, boom, they explode. I live in a complex of 5 flats, right? And in 8 years, we've had a number of different tenants in the 5 flats that surround me. And it's been the same. You get these couples and they're in love. And they're there for 2-3 weeks or even a month. They're quiet and everything's humming and everything's sweet. And then all of a sudden, 7 o'clock in the morning, they are just raging at each other, yelling at each other, abusing each other. I don't understand it. I knew when I was in a relationship that I was in a state of unwellness. That's ultimately what took me to the doctor, and said, I just sat down in front of my doctor. After 10 years of being in a stressful relationship, I said to my doctor, look, I'm stressed out. He goes, no more work for you. Straight away, sign me off work. No more work for you. Go and see this doctor. I went and saw the doctor on the following Friday. I think it might have been the Tuesday that I went to see him. And pretty much as soon as I walked in the door, the doctor knew my diagnosis. Oh, you're bipolar. You're on this medication now. And boom, out. 25 mgs of whatever medication you gave me, boom, I was out. I couldn't function, and slowly, it detached me from my commitments as a father, as a partner, as a provider. And internally, what that did, ultimately, it enabled me to focus on myself and just myself, because the work had to be done internally. It had to be done personally. I had to revert, and while they had to cut away all of those outer responsibilities in order for me to do some internal work. Great that I went to the doctor and got help for myself. That was just the beginning. After that, a lot of people out there, they're undiagnosed. They don't actually know that they've got this problem, but every 2-3 weeks, I'm waking up to screaming, yelling, smashing windows. Help me, help me, help me. Situations where I don't really want to get involved because it's dangerous. I've been threatened with knives for getting involved between domestics. I've walked into a room where 3 girls and 1 guy are having drinks, and the guy's just standing in the corner, and this girl's head is in the corner of the room, and he's just 1, 2, 3 laying into with his foot. And I'm saying, hey, come on now, what's going on? These girls, they're supposed to be this girl's friend, just sitting there drinking. He's just laying into this girl. I stopped getting involved when the guy turns around on me with a knife and says, mind your own business. And the girls that are supposed to be the girl's friend that's getting her head kicked in, they turn around and say to me, mind your own business. So I'm like, okay, chivalry really is dead. Chivalry is dead. I'm not even going to go there anymore. It took me a long time to detach from that type of heroism. that I've got to be able to have to stand there and watch that type of violence being inflicted on someone and not get involved. Parenting, where is that gone? What world did I end up in? And I'm basically, where am I going? Okay, so I wanted to provide a channel where people are allowed to and able to vent. Um, Eventually, we'll get to the point where people are able to call in and yeah, have a chat, or they can just leave it in chat. Um, yeah, and we can go from there. I've got a big screen up there, so anything that comes up on chat that I can't read on my computer screen, I'm going to look up and I'm going to read it on the big screen. Yeah, poetry. Let's talk about poetry for a little while. How, what, what, what bothers you in your brain? A lot of people see poetry as a fluffy cloud, a beautiful sunrise, um, sweet smelling flowers on a snowdrift day up in the mountains where the flakes fell upon us as honeydew. No, it, you can just waft on and on and on and on. But what? Yeah, expressionism. A lot of people see poetry like that, but I don't see poetry like that. I hardly even classify what I say and what I write as poetry. Most of what I've been producing lately, I put under the banner of political rant. Oh, yeah. So just recently, I decided I didn't want to be actual life friends with a person who'd been my friend and I'd considered a good friend for ages, for years. But it just dawned on me that this person just wanted me for information, to keep tabs on a group, on a sector outside of his reach. So I was thinking, and another friend of mine defended me to that person and says, "Oh, don't do that to him. He's very political." Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You hit the nail on the head there. Oh, I'm very political. Mm. Oh yeah. But the thing about um oh gosh. So if you wanted to call someone old fashioned, I guess you would call me old fashioned because I go right back to imperialism. um yeah, precedents need to be set, and too much work has gone into allowing the criminal to get away with punishment, and funnily enough, it goes right back to when Jesus Christ stood in his trial in front of the people and they released the murderer, the rapist, the child molester. Instead of hanging him, they hung the Christ, the Lord, instead. And ever since then, it seems to have been, to me, that all they've ever tried to do since then is try to make the laws less on them, or help them or aid them get away with it altogether. And it just seems like, you got to hear that story. You got to read that story and you think, no, that's backwards. You're crucifying, you're hanging, you're killing this innocent man, and you're going to let that guy go. Ever since then, it's kind of been the routine. Oh, he didn't know what he was doing. Oh, they didn't know what they were doing. had they had been properly informed about that type of behavior, we believe that they wouldn't have done that, and they need a better chance. If we were to execute them now for doing that, they'd never have another chance. They're actually using these words. They'd never have a chance to actually cognitively decide on what's yeah, very political, Natasha. yeah, yeah, that's one word for it. Eh? So, so yeah, wow. You know, there are political opinions out there about judicial proceedings and due process, and once upon a time, for a crime, they used to be hung from the mast of a ship, and that was the penalty. Now it's down to 8 years, and people are arguing life for a life. Does a person who was raped, because it's not gender associated, it's not gender applicable. A male can be raped just as much as a female, but the punishment and the acceptance behind that punishment is different. Anyhow, that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make is what used to be the punishment used to be hung from the ship's mast is now 8 years, and then they're released. So I'm of the belief that if a person is raped, you're actually taking their life. In actual fact, to me, that's murder. They're ruined. Now there's a lot of agencies out there. There's rape crisis. There's prostitute um, advocacy trusts and stuff like that. People can go to with issues like that. But I'm just raw. I'm just a person. I'm just a human. I'm just a person in society. I'm a person in community. I have to soak all of the angles up. Absolutely. Our prison system is focused on rehabilitation, slap on the hand and get it out early for good behavior. And I wonder why our crime rate is insane and won't get started. Yeah. Okay. So could possibly be a good little couch buddy for me to sit next to. We could go at it for a couple of hours. I don't mind how long that goes on for. But anyway, thank you for your comments, Natasha. Absolutely, absolutely. And they wonder why. So they're wondering why on a lot of things. They're wondering why on kids that want to get into cars and smash through shoe shop windows. They're wondering about suicide rates. They're wondering about why people need to take so many mental health days. They're wondering why it takes 8 years to bring serial drug rapists to justice. You know, and all this time, these girls or these guys or these people, they have to fight. They have to fight internally within themselves and tell themselves, no, I'm right to do this. I have to follow this through. And it's a continuous battle. It's a continuous battle. It takes years and years and years and years of self belief and self conviction that they are doing the right thing and they're proceeding forth on the proper path, and that's exactly what they need to do. So I give all full credit to anybody that's gone through, because I'm just making reference to the Jazz Brothers case down in Christchurch that took years and years and years to come to courts, and finally they got justice, and shamed, publicly shamed, and put into prison for however long. And like you say, good behavior and all that goes into consideration, and da 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 da. And if they have a place to go out and can be released to, they'll go under community observation or supervision, and they'll get a bracelet on their leg, and they get sentenced to 18 years, and after 5 years they can go, as long as they stay at daddy's place, and they're home by 9 o'clock, and they don't go out and they don't associate and they go into anger management courses and all this blah blah blah. So back to the reason why I've opened up a channel, Poetry for Your Voice, is that there are people out there that do need to express themselves, and understandably, we haven't got English degrees or diplomas or even certificates. So when it comes to the outburst, to the outset of explaining how you feel about it, you just go right ahead. You just go right ahead. Open it. It's open. I've got nothing but love for you. Let's go. Let's go on these subjects. And let's forget about the political format too. I'm not trying to get votes here. I'm not trying to run for prime minister. I don't want your statistical evaluations on these topics. I just want you to feel normal, because we're all pissed off about this. We good people out there that are striving to do the best we can by the system that's there put out in front of us. We're actually trying, but here are these people and they're getting all these chances. You know, I'm a Māori, and I love being a Māori. I'm proud to be a Māori. And here I am. I'm sitting here the other night, and on the news there's this person, and he's a reformed methamphetamine cook. And here they are. They've got him splashed all over TV. He's doing his carvings and he's doing his meres, and he's got this art gallery, and he's had to go through drug rehab, drug reform, prison systems, do courses that are provided by the prison systems to come out and say, look at me. Wowee. I've been this, I've been that, I've done this, I've done that, and now I'm this. Wow, and they give him his 15 seconds, 15 minutes of fame. And, you know, I just look at that and I think, mate, I've been behaving myself for a long time. And you can have a look at the reasons why I've spent time in prison. I've been to the prison, but no, I haven't tried to harm anybody. I haven't cooked meth. I haven't sold drugs. I'm not a drug dealer. You know, I lashed out at a few people because I couldn't hold my temper, and it comes under the banner of my diagnosis. But these guys, they're intentionally out there hurting people, cooking stuff, ingredients to sell to children. And here they are, they're on TV as an example. Really? Really? You want our youth, our people, our good kids to look up to these people and say, that's our example? They're not going to give me a chance. They're not going to give me a break. I can't succeed with a few courses unless I go to prison first. What's wrong with encouraging them to be successful straight out of school? Why give them so many examples of doing the right thing after being in prison? It's a strange world. I for one, so politically, I think more precedents need to be set. I wouldn't go past applying imperialism for a few more decades, for a couple of decades. I mean, some people, they say China is pretty harsh, pretty bad to live in, and all that. But the example that the world needs to set in order for the people to behave themselves has reverted itself to a stage and a state where even the thought of committing a crime something has to set off in their mind. Even at the thought of committing a crime, they're thinking, Oh no. I don't want to be hung on a cross. I don't want to be executed. I don't want to be whipped at the pillars. I don't know. Something that really sinks into the head, not 8 years of not being able to see your loved ones, being fed 3 times a day, having clothes put on your back, nice clothes, having a heated and vented personal cell room all to yourself, courses it would normally cost people outside in the free world thousands and thousands of dollars to learn for free. Putting all of these resources into people that actually, you know, why can't we just look at it and say, if you behave yourself, come out of college, doesn't matter if you just did 3 years secondary, you didn't get any formal qualifications, just because you were a good kid, you're going to be able to do this $6,000 percussions course and learn how to play the drums, the triangles, and all sorts of other instruments just because you're a good kid. No, not because you ruined all of your chances. You ended up in prison, and this is it, mate. If you don't grab a hold of this chance and take it with both hands, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, that's the incentive they're trying to use such gifted opportunities for. I'm just going to read this post. It sure is a thing to think about, Tosh. Yeah, yeah. Because I have the privilege of knowing you too, and gosh, I got just so much admiration for you. It's a tough time to be able to sit back and just really tell you how much I admire you because of who you are, what you've done, and how you're doing it. Look, mate. Yeah, just keep going on yours, and yeah, you're a great example to your child, and you got it right. I think you got it right in your head, and yeah, all I can say is outside of this program, this channel, this podcast, if you ever need to just like have someone to talk to, I'm here because we're gonna see each other. We're gonna work with each other. We're gonna be in the same room, so that's pretty cool. All of that, and yeah, I really love you, and then what you're doing and how you're going about it, and all your friends out there got your back too. I see that with your YouTube channel. If you people out there want to follow someone who's really going to go somewhere and is coming out with yeah, see you next week. And who's coming out with some great material and some great music? You wanna subscribe and like Natasha Lee on YouTube. She's also got a Facebook platform, and yeah, she's really got some good music coming out, people. So if you're already following Natasha Lee on YouTube, you got nothing but good things coming for you. Yeah. Okay. So I was young when I started drinking alcohol, and it was a surprise to me because it was actually my auntie that said to me um, one Christmas, I believe. And I was only about 14 years old, and what she said to me and how she said it to me made sense to me. But she said, Isaac, I think it's okay that you drink with us now as adults. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And she goes, I'd rather you get drunk in front of us and fall over or whatever in front of us instead of trying to swipe alcohol off the table and running around the corner and getting drunk and falling over and blotted in the dark somewhere where we can't see you. So I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. So I started drinking in front of just allowed to. Now the drinking age I think is what 16 or 18, 16, I think. was 21. It was 21 when I was allowed to drink. So I was way under the drinking age. Um, how did that affect me? How did that affect me as a child growing up, being allowed to drink alcohol in front of my parents and family like that? Voting wasn't on my mind. It was sure wasn't a subject on my mind. Um, wow. I was at college. Um, yeah, it was just accepted. It was pretty cool. Um, but I think the key was her saying to me, "I'd rather you get drunk and fall over in front of us than swipe alcohol off the table, run around the corner in the dark, get drunk and fall over." I think if she hadn't said it like that and put it like that, it wouldn't have had much meaning. It would have been just like an initiation sort of thing. Oh, yeah, you're old enough now, you can do that. And yeah. No, there was a real reason behind it, and she put some thought into it, and she really decided that she was going to show some love and open it up to all of us. And the fact that she did that and not my mother and not my father didn't piss my mother or father off. And because she was of the same authority, when she said it to me, once she'd passed that decision, I mean, made that law that it was okay and agreeable and acceptable for me to drink alcohol at the table with the adults, it flew through everybody. Not one of my older relations looked down at me and says, "Bro, what are you up to? Do you reckon you can handle that? You want to be drinking? You want to drink? You want to be a drinker?" And none of them came down on me like that. It was like, yeah, it was just a social acceptance after that. And I was still at college, and I don't know about the other guys at college, but they uh, they they had their own allowances in life, and some of them, and it was just beyond me. Some of them were actually allowed to smoke marijuana. They wear Rastafari clothing and clothing with marijuana leaves on it, and obviously when they got home, they were allowed to draw on the odd bud every now and then, but no, that was a big no-no, and that wasn't going to be something that was accepted among me, particularly with my father and my mother. A lot of the other cousins, yeah, they were ganja acceptable. They had the best. But yeah, my father had this thing, and I've got this thing I'm gonna finish off soon. I'm gonna read a poem, and but I'm gonna leave you with this, and it's rubbed off on me. My father's passed away now. He's been like 2 years dead now, and he never once smoked a joint or had a puff or had a spliff or bong. He never knew what it was like to get stoned, but fuck, I did, and I liked it. But I don't smoke it anymore. But just the similarities between him and I. He was proud. He was proud of the fact that he'd been through his life and he'd never smoked marijuana. And I have the same pride within me because I've been through my life and I've never tried methamphetamine. It is a scourge out there in society. It is a disease more than anything else. It corrupts and it takes away our loved ones, and it takes loved ones away from our people, and it's just horrendous the amount of damage that it's doing out there. So I take my hat off to my old man for all those years that he said that he never tried marijuana and he was proud of it. And I used to look at him and I think, how could you have an opinion of something that you've never tried before? Well, here I am. Here I am. I'm looking at myself now, and I have an opinion of it, and I've never tried it. And I like that I've got this opinion. I'm going to stick with this opinion, and I've never tried it, and I won't. I just won't. I don't have that hunger, that desire, that want to want to try something so destructive. Anyhow, we're getting into these poems that I've never read openly before. So I'm going to read one here. I just left the folder open from the other night. So it's the opposite page to the one that I read the other night. And this one is called The Most Popular. Where did that come from? Who said that? Don't him just leave her quiet now. Silence your minds. Don't say anything. No, don't even breathe. He's still listening. Quickly, switch on to something else. Pretend. Play. Be coy about it. Ha 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 ha. Fat cat aristocrat ran around like Frenchie's gillitrap. Ooh, yummy. Looky, looky. What's that I see? A Greek go-kart pillager rising philosophies of a glorified pool by filling a man's bath. Oink, oink, scoff, scoff. Too young a fellow to know enough. Ha 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 ha. Doesn't know enough to make an adult decision. Not so tough. Wonder if he will believe a baby made out of love will eventually fall out of his. I took my girls to the station to see the Indians dance. They kicked their heels above their heads and showed their little. Like it was a bullfrog sitting on a rock. Along came a bumblebee and stung 'em on the cocktails and ginger ales, 40 cents a glass. If you don't like it, stick it up your. Ask me no questions, tell me no lies. I saw 3 Frenchmen buttoning up their flies are a menace, mosquitoes they are worse. That is the end of my dirty little verse. Ouch, daddy, that hurts. Fuck up. You're getting paid for it. And you can take that wherever it goes in your mind and settles. So, yeah. I don't know whether that was read controversially or politically or strategically or satisfactorily. All the Lees, except for Natasha Lee. Sweetie, forgive me. Rhyming. Oh my gosh. I am not the rapper. Maybe I should sing a song as well. Well, how's that time? How are we going for time? I don't really want to watch the news tonight because all it is about is political voting and stuff. And maybe I'll vote for someone. Oh, I'll try this one, eh? Excuse me and my nose. I found a love. Oh no. For me. Darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. Oh, I never knew you were that someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. But darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own. And in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath. You heard it, darling, you look perfect tonight. Well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams. I hope that someday I'll share her home. I found a love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time. Darling, just hold my hand. Be my girl, I'll be your man. I see my future in your eyes. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When I saw you in that dress, looking so beautiful, I don't deserve this. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and she looks perfect. I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight. And that's all I got for you. So, all the people out there that are listening, you get a chance to tune in. Hopefully, you can catch me live next time. Like our friend out there, Natasha Lee, the great and wonderful Natasha Lee, comment in our comments. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with that. Good night.